you speak for the people of the state of Indiana or the city of Indianapolis. You do not speak for me or anyone I know. Now listen, you two jerks. Jerks on the right.
Hey, everybody. Happy Monday. How y'all doing? How you doing? Everybody's up. Rise and shine. Okay, coming up on the show today. You guys ready? It's going to be a long show.
It may be a long show.
I feel like it's going to be long because we have 2 days to make up for. Coming up today, the DNC starts this week, and it's already as completely insane as you think it would be. Kamala releases her economic plan, and it's also a complete disaster. Also, Kamala takes a reporter question, and it reminds everybody why she never takes reporter questions, because word salad. And Doug Emhoff has become even more beta, if you can believe that. And JD Vance's dog is completely awesome. All that and so much more coming up on today's show. Make sure you're subscribed to all the things. chicksontheright.com/links is where you can find those things. Do it.
Do it.
Do it. Maka's okay. She's hanging in there.
I'm okay. I am having like all the emotions. So I could burst into tears at any given moment. You're just going to need to be prepared for that. But actually doing great. Leaving was unbearable. Yeah. Brutal. The car ride home, several unbearable points where you just start crying because you just think, oh my God, I'm not going to see him for like 2 months. I can't. But overall, very, very happy with how he's doing there. Just very, very happy with all of that. And a moment of personal privilege, if I may, because the most amazing thing happened in our hotel. So we've got Ella. And so we're getting ready to go on, was it Friday morning? Yeah, Friday morning. And actually it was just me. It was me taking Ella outside to go potty. I get on the elevator. I'm on the 4th floor. We stop at the 3rd floor. Family comes in and they immediately fuss over Ella, right? Like they're, oh my God, dog, pet. And so, and the woman says, how old is she or what's her name? Or is she a boy or girl? I don't even remember what question she had. And I was like, oh, she's a girl. That's Ella. And all of a sudden she whips her head up and she goes, Mock? And I said, yes. And she said, oh my God, I watch you every day. Oh my God, I'm taking my son to Belmont Abbey too. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
So shout out to Ashley Rawls, who I met in the elevator. Could not believe it. Her son's going to be a wrestler at Belmont Abbey.
Oh my gosh.
Lovely to meet her. Lovely to meet the boys. That was just crazy.
That
right?
is crazy. That is really crazy.
Yeah. And she even said, she was like, I was just telling my husband, wouldn't it be crazy if I met Mock? You know, like, because we're both taking our kids to the same place. And then I was like, yeah.
And then you did.
Yeah. It was so fun.
That is really cool. Super cool.
That was neat. So happy day to Ashley Rawls and hope that she is surviving, not having to play with her as well.
Yeah, all the feels.
Oh my gosh. So many feels, you guys. So many. And also already some thank yous to give out. Adam Knoll says, morning chicks. This is my 2nd week watching y'all. Hope y'all had a wonderful weekend. Well, hello and welcome back.
Yes, welcome.
And then over on Locals, Osuki says there are 3 constants in life. The government will steal our money. The greedy will go to hell. And Kamala is perpetually drunk AF. I won't be watching that blazing inferno. I hear enough of their lies every day as it is. Oh, good morning.
We will be watching for you. Together. We're going to be together this week, you guys. I'm traveling. She's traveling. We're traveling. And we're going to be in this cesspool.
We're not traveling to the thing.
No, we're not traveling there. We're traveling
to a whole other thing.
Going to another cesspool, and then we're going to be together. But we're going to be together, which is great. That's great.
Yeah. So today's show, obviously, we're in our normal spots, and tomorrow's show will still be in our normal spots. But then tomorrow afternoon, we're traveling, and then Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday's show
we'll be together.
So that will be super fun. Okay, let's get to some screenshots and other things that we need to get to because there are more thank yous to give out. People were so nice at the end of last show and all throughout the weekend. Melissa Denton sent money saying for Mock and her hubs for a beverage after the thing. We're not talking about it. Big mama hugs. Love Mel in Wyoming. And then C2 Taylor said, take lots of videos on your road trip. I still watch the videos from the day I dropped my youngest off to college. I should have taken more videos on the road because my son and I had the best time. We were following my husband in a separate car and we had the best time, but I didn't do that. And now I'm having some regrets about it. But
So you took mental memories.
I
which
did.
is good.
I really did.
Mhm.
So thank you for that. And then our friend Dana Spain said, marry him a little something for a box of tissues and a decent bottle of Prosecco to either celebrate or drown your tears or both. Stay strong. Love y'all. Thank
Love
you
it.
so much, Dana. And then Shelly Bolton. Oh my goodness. Shelly Bolton sent us a zillion different Venmos because I think that there's a character limit to the message that you can attach. And she had
Really?
a lot to say. So she said, I was going to Venmo today anyway and send some encouragement about the kids, but now it's going to be more than one because I got shit to say. If you can string my Venmos together, the messages will make more sense. Love you chicks so much. Longtime listener, y'all are like me and my bestie since junior high. Insert AC/DC Back in Black 80s rule. And as I listen, I always talk back and converse with you. You totally hear me, right? Y'all are totally my spirit animals. Mock is my happy side. Daisy, my sarcastic side. Mock, you're going to be okay. I was in your shoes a few years ago, and my son has now changed career paths, but is doing great and has given me a new daughter-in-law just over a year ago. It
Love
changed
that.
fast, but we're praying for you all. I promise I'm not a stalker. Just got a lot to say, so please bear with me. Ignore the haters. We miss you when you're not on, but kids and family come first, so do you. I commend you doing any shows on the week of college drop-off. Regarding the opener, after the person says jerks on the right, it needs to be followed with Daisy saying, suck it, and Mock laughing. That would be epic. Venmo is making me censor. And then this is the last one. Regarding Olympic boxer lawsuit, show us the double X DNA biatch, censored again. See, I didn't say dude. And Daisy saying that people believing the media are dumber than sticks. Really, how insulting to the sticks. Love y'all so much. Can we be friends? See you on Monday.
Shelly, that was great.
And then we have a very exciting surprise to share with you in just a moment. But first, I have to remind everybody that if you need a little boost in the afternoons, this is the magic right here. It's Focus and Recall. This is a special supplement from HealthyCell, which of course is the ultra absorbing, clinically proven gel. They're not pills. It's just a delicious gel pack that you can just shoot straight. And it gives you all the brain boosting, brain power, and productivity that you need to get through your afternoon slump. This is just one of many supplements available by HealthyCell. When you go to healthycell.com/chicks and you use promo code chicks, you can get 20% off of your first order of either the Focus and Recall or any of the other products that HealthyCell has. I would recommend starting out with a multivitamin. The Bioactive Multi is great. The Vegan Essentials, also great. It's just got a little extra B12. But any of the specialty items from Genucell are amazing too. The hair, skin, and nails.
I love
amazing.
that one. Yep.
I know that's your favorite.
My favorite.
Immune boost, REM sleep, joint and mobility, heart and vascular health. They've got the right supplements to replace the bajillions of different pills that you're probably scarfing down and that aren't getting absorbed as well. So check out healthycell.com/chicks and use promo code chicks. You guys remember last week when I wore that shirt that said it's going to be a long show with our cartoon images that Carrie, our audience member Carrie, had put together, and she gave us these shirts that were amazing. And a lot of you guys were like, I would like a shirt like that. Well, guess what? You can
get one. You can get other things. Yeah.
You can get all kinds of things with that same little drawing that she made, and with the same saying it's going to be a long show. She has an Etsy store, and it's called In Real Life Creations. And Daisy's going to put the link everywhere after today's show.
Right after the show.
Yeah, just write it down if you want. In Real Life Creations. Apparently, without us even talking about it yet until just right now, Carrie said yesterday that she'd already sold 6 things. So people really are interested in that. And we're so glad to be able to bring it to you. And so excited about her and her store and her drawing and this taking off. It's just really, really cool. So Get yourself something fun at In Real Life Creations. And then also, before we get to actual headlines, I had to share this because I thought it was hilarious. Do you remember when Pepe Le Pew got canceled because he's too rapey?
Yes, he was it was a while back, but yeah he is kind of rapey. Yeah.
I just saw this response from Joe Pug that said, "I'm glad he's canceled and my kids are safe. Now my son can get back to playing Grand Theft Auto, where he just set a hooker on fire so he didn't have to pay her."
Oh my God, it's classic. So great.
That is so perfect, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right. So on to news. We know the DNC starts tonight. I think it kicks off at like 7:00 tonight. The number of protesters that they're expecting, the pro-Hamas weirdos, it is like 100,000 people they're expecting to take to the streets to protest. And keep in mind, these are Democrats protesting other Democrats.
Right.
And so now there's this huge police presence. They've got like a perimeter around like 5 miles from the convention center, and they're building walls, which is always so interesting when they do the thing that they say doesn't work.
Yeah, I thought they didn't. They didn't work. So did Kamala set up a bail fund? Did she do that?
That's a great question. That is a great question.
For all the weirdos that are going to cause problems, which they will cause problems. Yeah, those walls are neat, aren't they?
They look really, really good. They look like they could work.
They look like they could.
So weird how they're choosing to build walls.
Yeah, you got to keep the riffraff out, you guys.
And just keep in mind, the border czar, this is all in her honor. And this is what our border currently looks like compared to what the DNC looks like. It just says a lot.
Just unreal, isn't it? You cannot make this crap up.
I know. And the surrounding area businesses are boarding up in advance of, like, in anticipation of expecting violence, which is crazy. And you know it's bad when there are actual businesses that brand themselves as the original board up services, not like just those cheap plywood that people can get at Lowe's. There are actual businesses that do this because of the violent Democrat protesters.
And it makes you wonder, okay, who do these people vote for?
Right?
Who do the board up services vote for? And they're small businesses. And she was like, listen, she was quoted this past weekend. Everybody probably saw the past 4 days. She was quoted as saying she's going to take people's patents away. You know, the Kamala. And so it's like she hates small business. I wonder like who these small businesses who are all entrepreneurial and they're like, hey, let's start a board up service. Like what? They probably vote Democrat.
They probably do because they have her to thank. They have Democrats to thank for giving them a business idea.
Exactly. Otherwise, they wouldn't have this business. It's unreal.
Absolutely crazy. And if you didn't think that the DNC was just gross enough on its face, well, this is what they plan to have there. There's a mobile health clinic by Planned Parenthood who will be parked at the DNC on August 19th and 20th. That's today and tomorrow, where men and women have the opportunity to get free vasectomies and abortions while they are at the DNC.
So vile.
So, I mean, it's gross enough that they have this, but even the grosser part is that there is so much interest. There's already a waiting list for both services.
Just gross. I'm judging every one of these people.
You should. You absolutely should. That is vile.
Yeah.
And then on the inside of the convention center, they have this giant display. This is like in addition to this mobile clinic. Americans for Contraception plans to have this 18-foot tall inflatable IUD named Frida Womb. This is Democrats.
These people are so, I know they're so freaking gross.
I mean,
God, it's like, how can you align yourself with this shit? Yeah, gross. It's gross. It's all they care about. God.
Yeah. And then people are all like, why does JD Vance keep talking about families and, you know, childless cat ladies? Well,
yeah.
Can you blame him? The Democrats do not believe in normal families.
Yeah,
they do everything they can to not have them.
He's so weird. Hey, let's put this down on the floor and let the kids jump on the big IUD. But JD Vance is really weird. We have an inflatable IUD, but JD Vance is okay. All right. Whatever.
Well, and then some of the protesters were already out and about yesterday in advance of the DNC starting, and there were women marching in the street dressed up as abortion pills, just wearing these white.
Well, we've seen them dressed up as vaginas, so this doesn't surprise me.
They're just embarrassing.
Yeah.
They're just embarrassing.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you had any doubt that teachers' unions care about kids, let me just point out.
Or don't care about kids? Yeah, they
don't care because Randy Weingarten, who's obviously going to be attending the DNC, I did not know this, but Chicago Public Schools delayed opening school because of this convention. That's where their priorities are.
You got to be kidding me.
Can you
also, that's a man, baby. I mean, wow. They don't. Okay. So schools are not in session because of the DNC.
Apparently so.
Wow. Okay.
They care about the kids though. They want you to believe that they really care about those kids.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're all about the social justice activism crap. This is what they're all about. Wow. And we wonder why we're so far behind education-wise, behind other countries around the world.
Yeah.
That's a fact. So gross.
And also, in keeping with their, Zoom calls that are segregated by race for Kamala, they're doing the same thing at the DNC. This is just a part of their agenda. They've got a Black caucus meeting, a Hispanic caucus meeting, an AAPI caucus meeting, Native American, ethnic council meeting. Everything is about race or killing babies. That's it. That's their entire platform.
Race and gender and killing babies. Right. Because they're all about the segregation, don't you know?
Yeah.
They're all about compartmentalizing people into gender and into race and ethnicities because they're all about segregation. They love that. They love to label people. So gross, identity politics.
Why are they the way they are?
Because they're racist. That's why.
Judy Flood says, I remember taking my youngest daughter to college. I cried for a week. My husband would tease me saying she'll meet a tall Texan and leave Ohio forever. It felt like a death in the family. Hang in there. It gets better.
Did she meet a tall Texan? Did she meet one?
Oh, that's a good question.
I hope so. Yay, Texans.
It has gotten better. I think because now there's more tears of joy and pride than there are from sadness. But it still hurts because I do miss him like crazy. But yeah,
he's gonna do so great. Oh my gosh, he's gonna flourish there. Yeah.
I think he really will. You guys, right now at mypillow.com/chicks, when you use promo code chicks, huge discounts on the MyPillow products, including premium queen size MyPillows, are less than $20 right now. And we got a great testimonial from Sue Singleton, who makes the scrubbies.
Yeah, Sue.
So she said, I bought 4 sets of King Giza Dream Sheets from MyPillow between 2021 and 2022, among other things. I have one set. The fitted sheet has developed a hole in it. I called them Monday to see if I could buy another fitted sheet, just another fitted sheet to replace the one that has the hole. All the agent had was my name, which I gave her, and phone number from her screen. She asked me what color I had. I told her I didn't know the exact color name, but it was the beige color, and it was a solid, not the tone on tone stripe set or the gray. Before I could say another word, she had me pulled up, saw I bought 4 sets, what colors, what dates, etc. And then she told me she would replace the entire set and I did not need to purchase a replacement fitted sheet. She would send me a return authorization email, and all I needed to do was send my entire damaged set back to her, fitted flat, and the 2 pillowcases. Before we got off the phone, the email was in my mailbox, and the entire phone call didn't take more than a few minutes. These sheets are all over 3 years old. Great company, great service, great people, and Mike Lindell needs all of our help. Have a great weekend.
Amen to that.
Great testimonial.
It's
from
a really
Sue.
great. It is a great company. So great. He's a great guy.
Travis Richardson, thank you. He says, meanwhile, terrorists are watching this and are going to destroy us. Yeah, they're keeping their eye on the DNC. For sure. All right. So finally, because we were off on Thursday and Friday, and on Friday, Kamala finally decided maybe it's time to tell people what I plan to do. Right? She decided to release some policy ideas. So that was a welcome change.
Well, read from a teleprompter.
Right. Yeah,
what
exactly.
somebody else wrote that I think I maybe am going to do, but we all know that it was read from a teleprompter.
Oh yeah, for sure. But just to give people a reminder about where we are since she took office, the price of everything is not just up, but astronomically up. When you look at just car insurance, 54%, K through 12 food up 65%. I mean, everything is just insanely.
Hotels get us because we have to travel a lot for
Yeah.
swim, and it is insane what we have to pay. It's crazy, you guys. I mean, that
Yeah.
the hotels are just in little crap towns. I'm like, what? We're not in Vegas. What's going on? Yeah. So, I mean, hotels, I see that 51.2%. It's nuts.
It's bad. It's real bad. And so people really want to know, what is she going to do to fix inflation? So she decided to go full commie. And that's why Trump is now calling her comrade Kamala. She decided to go full commie. One of the things that she plans to do is deal in price controls, because she believes that all of these increases that you see on your screen right now are due to price gouging, which is insane lunacy and not true at all.
Well, it's also somebody who doesn't understand the economy. She's somebody who's never worked a real job in her life, and she doesn't know, she doesn't live in the real world. So she doesn't know how this crap works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and she also doesn't know how to say price gouging.
She doesn't.
So when she announced this, here is how she announced it.
And I will work to pass the first ever federal ban on price gauging on food.
She's reading, that's why.
I mean,
because she's reading from a teleprompter. She doesn't know how to say it because she was reading. She doesn't even know what she's reading.
Well, I mean, those are two different words and spelled two different ways.
Totally.
So either her teleprompter people messed up, or she just can't read.
She can't. But she probably, maybe both are true.
Probably both are true. There was another moment that has now gone viral because somebody slapped a Trump message at the end of it, but she also referred to the increase in prices that we're all dealing with, and it doesn't go well for her.
A loaf of bread cost 50% more today than it did before the pandemic. Ground beef is up almost 50%.
Yeah, thanks for letting us know.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
Right. Yeah, we appreciate that. It's like, oh my God. Yeah, that is the greatest Trump ad ever, isn't it?
Right? I mean, he didn't even have to say anything. He just slaps that at the end, and it says everything you needed to know. And of course, this wasn't the only thing. The price gouging ban is just a piece of her nonsense. But the price controls is a huge deal because obviously that's a super communist idea. But she also talked about, just handing out $25,000 checks to first-time home buyers.
My God.
And it's insane. Like what she is proposing is truly insane. And even folks on the mainstream networks were commenting about how this is not a good look for her. Here's an analyst on CNN talking about the whole price controls thing and how it's just that's not a thing.
Catherine, I read your piece and I heard you just mention it. The federal ban on price gouging for groceries. You are skeptical of this. Why?
Well, first of all, nobody can explain what price gouging means. The particular way that this is written, which is likely to be the template for any proposal that Harris would eventually embrace, is especially bad in that it just bans excessive prices, grossly excessive prices, grossly excessive profit margins, and says that the Federal Trade Commission can use any metric it deems appropriate to decide what that would mean, which basically says, like, it's not going to be markets, it's not going to be supply and demand that's determining how much your grocery store charges you for milk or for eggs. It's going to be some bureaucrat in DC, which seems like totally unworkable, first of all, for the FTC to be deciding like how much Kroger charges for eggs in Michigan. But it also would be very bad for markets. We've seen this kind of thing tried in lots of other countries before. Venezuela, Argentina, the Soviet Union, etc.
Just say it.
It leads to shortages. It leads to black markets. Plenty of uncertainty. And beyond that, the specific way this bill is written might actually increase prices because of some of the other language in it. Things like requiring companies, public companies, to disclose in their quarterly reports, their quarterly earnings reports, how they're setting prices, which is a great way to help them collude, which normally we don't want them to do. So anyway, the devil's in the details, I guess, for that bill, but it's really hard for me to imagine any form of legislation that preserves the spirit of what she's proposing that would not be, at best do nothing, at worst cause a lot of harm.
She never said it. She never said what it is. It's communism.
Right. I
That's what
like
it is.
one of the hallmarks of it.
Right. I mean, she mentioned some of the countries who are engaging in this sort of thing.
What do those have in common?
What do they? It's like, what is it? It's communism. That's what it is. Yeah, just say it, lady. Because those of us who can think critically, we know what it is. Right now, look at what's happening in Venezuela. It's interesting to me how the mainstream media is not reporting on what's happening in Venezuela right now. That should be all over the news. And it should be a stark, everybody here should be freaking out about what's happening in Venezuela. It should be a warning, a red flag for all of us. It's like, hey, don't do this in America, you guys. Don't do it. And if you vote Kamala in, that's what's going to happen. Venezuela is going to happen. Don't do it. And so say that word more often. It's communism. That's what she wants. She wants communism.
Well, and just remember, you can easily vote in Kamala and communism, but you cannot vote communism out. That's the nature of the beast.
That's right.
And so that's why it's so important to beat her. Charles Payne also weighing in on her economic policy, saying rightly that it's all about control.
They are infatuated with some sort of big government, knows all, does all, can provide all. And they are not fans of the for-profit motivation or capitalism. Because it's not even about economics about them. They've got to wrap it in a veneer of economics. It's always about control. They want to control. They want to be able to pick winners and losers and also be able to punish those losers. When they talk so vitriolically about companies, to David's point, last time Kroger reported their earnings, their profit margins went down from 3.5% to 2.9%. Now, I don't care what definition of gouging you may have. That's not it.
Yeah, he's absolutely right. And it's the same reason. It goes back to the clip we played last week. I think it was Gutfeld who was talking about why they hate Elon Musk. They hate Donald Trump. And they're teaching kids to hate those people as well. It used to be that we liked those guys. It used to be
aspired to be like that.
That was the American dream. That was the capitalist American dream. And now they demonize those people. Why? Because they want government cradle to grave. They want you to suckle at the teat of government. We're the government. We're the ones who provide the money for these people. So it's like not one time did I hear Kamala in her stupid speech, her teleprompter speech last week, talk anything about government spending control. It's all about spend, spend, spend. That's what causes inflation. These people are out of control. Well,
and the $25,000 thing for the housing, another CNN analyst talked about the result of that and what it would be.
New program that she's kind of doing is pretty far left, $25,000, price controls essentially. That's number one. But the other thing is, kind of conveniently forgot she was vice president for the last 4 years when a lot of the housing market crisis was at its worst, when inflation was at its worst. So there's a lot of memory holding that. But look, when it comes to the $25K, I mean, you just added $25,000 into every price onto every home price in the country. Because if you're giving that away essentially for free, people will add it into the price. And the other thing
that's right.
How do they not get this? How?
Because I want to say all the words, but I won't. I'll refrain. Because they're dumb.
They're real.
Dumb. They don't know how. They're just like Kamala. They don't know how economics works. They don't get it. And they just think that there's an endless supply of money that falls from the sky, and then we'll staple it to the clouds for climate change.
Scott Jennings, also not impressed with her economic plan.
What I picked up on today was this whole notion that price gouging, or gauging, as she called it, is what people are feeling. That is a total canard. This is not true. This is made up because they're trying to deflect attention from the actual inflation that has caused everything in your life to get more expensive. So they need the American people to believe something other than the truth. There is no price gouging. Grocery stores, these things, they operate on very slim profit margins. There is no gouging. There is just inflation. So to go out and say, oh, I'm going to get the federal government involved in setting prices or capping prices or interrupting the flow of the free market economy, let me tell you something. If you like bread lines, product shortages, black markets, hoarding, if you want to recreate the happy economic conditions of The Walking Dead, Kamala Harris has a plan for you.
He's absolutely 100% correct.
Yeah, I mean, and it seems so obvious and so dumb, like a dumb strategic move on her part to be this out there, like to be this, commie, like blatantly commie. I think it caught a lot of people by surprise that she went this far to the left when releasing her proposals.
You don't want to be in bread lines with conservatives because we'll win. We'll win at the bread lines. I mean, am I wrong? I'm just saying, if it's a competition for food, we're going to win.
There is a Twitter account called Kamala HQ, which releases all of I think it's actually Kamala HQ wins. And they release like all of these things that they think are like, look at her go, right? And so a new account that's called Kamala HQ Lies has been created to refute all of those wins, many of which are just complete lies or just it's like they've taken a piece of information and they have twisted it to make it something that it's not. And so this account, which I highly recommend everybody follows because they are on it, they are systematically dismantling every single one of her supposed wins. And so just to give you an example, the Kamala headquarter account shared a screenshot that Fox Business used that outlined her plan, right? It just like said, here are the bullet points of her plan. Mm-hmm. And they were like, thanks, Fox News. They just took a screenshot of it. If they would have posted the video, then they would have actually heard Fox talking about the plan. And so now you're going to see the clip that actually
she's proposing quite a few things, including a tax incentive for building starter homes, a $40 billion fund to spur housing construction, cutting red tape, stopping Wall Street investors from bulk buying homes, and $25,000 in down payment support for first-time homeowners.
Greta Trimble, Edward Lawrence, thank you.
So to recap, Kamala Harris's economic policies are either one, carbon copies of President Trump's are just god-awful.
I love her, by the way.
I know.
She's one of my favorites. Uh-huh.
And they're god-awful.
They are god-awful.
Absolutely god-awful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Here is another CNBC analyst talking about she's one of the people that I think is a little bit surprised that Kamala went this far, like lurched to the left.
Hasn't stuck to any very clear set of ideological policies. She's wavered a bit throughout her years in politics. What was interesting to me today in seeing this plan is that it's clearly very progressive, regardless of what she's saying to donors behind closed doors. She is putting a progressive bent to her campaign at this point. And that's not what a lot of people expected or hoped to see.
You're an idiot.
I've been talking to moderate Democrats who said she could just run a vibes campaign. She didn't have to get into policy details at all. They think the best way for her to win is to do anything to just distance herself from the far left, regardless of whether or not she dives into policy details, and she would win. Clearly, she didn't take that advice. She is diving into policy details that go more left. She might be saying other things behind closed doors to make sure corporations are still on her side as well. But clearly, she wants to sort of have this brand of the progressive candidate.
Yeah. You're an idiot. These people are absolute idiots. How do you not know that she's far left? Have you been paying attention? Have you been awake?
Like, no, most people haven't because they're just enjoying the vibes. I mean, seriously, that's why she was doing so well. She's probably going to take a tumble. Well, probably not with the DNC, but she might have actually taken a hit in the polls because of these policies.
Yeah, I've been reading.
Now it's all been vibes. Everybody's like,
yeah, I've been reading that she's starting to take a little bit of a tumble because like the honeymoon period is, which I suspected that the honeymoon. How can you think that she is moderate though?
Oh my
I mean,
God.
like especially if you are a journalist, you're a freaking moron. Like read something. Pay attention to what comes out of her pie hole, and you'll know that she's not moderate. She is very far left. She's farther left than Bernie. I mean, oh my God, these people. It's just remarkable how stupid they are.
And here's a great example. That same account that we were just talking about, Kamala's wins. Back in July, they said, breaking, in a stunning new leaked video, JD Vance claims that childless adults should pay more in tax. It's clear JD Vance wants to wage war against Americans. And then literally 2 weeks later, they're like, breaking, Kamala Harris just announced if she's elected, she'll restore the child tax credit.
My God.
It's the same freaking plan. And they're like, oh, it's terrible when JD says it, but now we're going to copy it and say it's great.
Yeah. And Democrats are like, this is awesome.
Oh my God.
I know, sheep, lobotomized sheep.
Oh my God.
I can't.
JD Vance also reacted to her plans. Right here.
Now, I was listening to Kamala Harris give a rally recently because she doesn't talk to the media. She just talks behind a teleprompter. We're going to take some questions from the media after this, as a matter of fact. But she said she's going to tackle the affordability crisis affecting American families on day one. Think about that. Kamala, day one was January of 2021. Day one was 4 years ago, Kamala Harris, and because of your policies, too many children can't afford a nice meal, too many children have been killed by fentanyl, too many grandparents are raising kids they didn't plan for, and too many families can't afford a special meal on a Friday night.
He's right. He's absolutely right. Yeah. And now she's like, I'm going to price gauge.
Right. I'm going to price gauge.
Okay.
So you guys, now we know, I mean, we always knew, but like now I think it's becoming more clear to people in general that the reason that she never takes questions from the press without scripts or teleprompting is because she sounds like the stone cold idiot that she is. So she decided to take a question. And the question is very basic about her new economic policies. How will it be paid for? You guys, she thinks it's going to pay for itself.
Oh, okay.
And she says in terms of like 92 times in her answer. Listen.
You unveiled your economic policies last week.
Yeah.
Can you explain how you're going to pay for those? And can you give us a sense of what other policies you want to unveil going forward?
Sure. Well, I mean, you just look at it in terms of what we are talking about, for example, around children and the child tax credit and extending the EITC. That is, it's at $6,000 for the first year of a child's life. The return on that investment in terms of what that will do and what it will pay for will be tremendous. We've seen it when we did it in the first year of our administration. We reduced child poverty by over 50%. So that's a lot of the work. And then what we're doing in terms of the tax credits, we know that there's a great return on that investment. And when we increase home ownership in America, what that means in terms of increasing the tax base, not to mention property tax base, what that does to fund schools, again, return on investment. I think it's a mistake for any person who talks about public policy to not critically evaluate how you measure the return on investment. When you are strengthening neighborhoods, strengthening communities, and in particular the economy of those communities, and investing in a broad-based economy, everybody benefits, and it pays for itself.
No, it doesn't. That's not what he asked. He didn't ask about ROI. He asked about how you're gonna pay for it. That's what he asked. Those are two different things. Two entirely different. Scotch. Somebody's been drinking a little bit of the scotch.
You guys, the most interesting thing about all of that, other than the fact that it's nonsense, it's
Total
complete
nonsense.
is that she's trying to say that a $6,000 tax credit has an ROI that like lasts forever and ever and it pays for itself, essentially. If she believes that, then why wouldn't there be tax cuts across the board on everything? Right? Because usually tax cuts, the way that Trump implemented them, that does help everybody. That does allow more money in our pockets to then spend into the economy. So
Right.
she's almost like Republican on that topic. But then when she goes into this whole ROI sphere of doom,
The scotch. Yeah.
right.
Yeah, right.
Then she just sounds like a complete moron. Like she has
Right.
no idea how any of this works.
No, she doesn't know how the economy works.
Oh my
She doesn't
God.
know. None of these people in government do. None of them do. They've never had real jobs. They don't know how businesses work. They don't know, which is why I like Trump, which is why I like JD Vance, because they've started businesses. They understand this stuff. This is why I like business people running the country, because they know how to CEO.
Right.
Oh my
they
God.
know how to actually manage money.
Right.
I mean, but that is why. Okay. So when she doesn't take reporter questions, it's because of that. She has no idea what she believes or what her policies even mean. So
Mhm.
she just does in terms of like 90,000 times to try to make a salad that hopefully is so overwhelming just in the number of words that people forget that it's supposed to actually make sense.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean?
And there are a
those
lot of
words together like
Yeah.
sound really smart.
And
No.
a lot of dumb people buy it. ROI is return on investment. Somebody asked what ROI is.
Yeah.
Which
It's just wow.
Oh
wow.
Like, it's just like
She's like, maybe if I use a business term like
Mhm.
ROI, it'll sound
it'll
like smart
sound like
policy.
I know. I'll sound like I know what I'm talking about. And if I put in terms of in front of
Right.
crap 15 times, people will think I know what I'm talking. No, you don't know
No.
what you're talking about. You are completely inept. You are a moron.
Total moron. Joseph Groshek, thank you. He says, scary thoughts. Does it need to get worse before we can make it better? Because everyone over 35 is tough enough, but let's call 25-year bluff.
It's I can't. I
hear
don't. Can it get worse? Can it get any worse?
That's the thing. Because remember, again, like I said, you can vote in commies, but you
can't-
cannot vote them out.
No, listen,
So
we're-
it can't get worse. It
Listen,
can't.
we actually we already started talking about the socialism thing when Obama came into office back in 2008, 2009. We were talking about, we had bumper stickers that said socialism sucks. Okay. Like, I feel like we were the OGs of like screaming this at the top of our lungs. We're already 15 years into this, so it can't get much worse. We're at the edge of the cliff now. We can't come back from this. If she gets in, we're done. We are Venezuela, in my personal opinion. We are on the path to becoming Venezuela. I think people think that this is, it's fine. We can always bounce back. We're America. It's going to be fine. It's not going to be fine if she gets into office. And I swear, I'm not trying to be dramatic. I just feel like that is, I know with every ounce of my being that is the case. We're not going to be fine if she gets into office, you guys. So vote accordingly.
And she's in office. People keep forgetting that she's actually in
Right.
office.
But I'm saying-
responsible for the shithole we are currently in.
Right.
So I mean, it's not going to get better.
No, it's not going to get better. And she
Not
will
gonna
just
get
take us over the cliff
Mhm.
because other people are running the show. You think that it's her. It's not her. It's freaking Obama and a bunch of other people that are pulling the strings. This is not hyperbole. I'm just saying it'll get worse. It'll get way worse. And people, conservatives even are like, I can't do anything about it. I'm just going to like sit back. I don't like to get involved in get involved in politics. It affects you. It affects your families. It affects it affects everything. Get involved. Now's the time.
Mm-hmm. Audrey Krause 5, thank you. She says, I would encourage vasectomies for Democrat men. We don't need their offspring votes. However, you don't get any more evil than providing free abortions. So disgusting. It's
Yeah,
true.
I mean,
It's kind of like a problem. It's like the trash taking itself out.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're right about the vasectomy thing. If the beta males are getting vasectomies, I mean, are we really mad? Are we mad?
That's true.
Yeah.
Karen Eva says, got my hubby Jim and his brother David listening.
Yay.
David.
Hi.
Hello. Trump called it like he saw it, and he's absolutely right to compare Kamala to Maduro.
She's running on the Maduro plan. We call it the Maduro plan, like something straight out of Venezuela or the Soviet Union. This announcement is an admission that her economic policies have totally failed and caused really a catastrophe for our country, and beyond that, a catastrophe in the world.
He's right. I mean,
Totally.
he's absolutely right.
He's also, by the way, slaying on TikTok. So he created an account on TikTok just like a couple weeks ago. Last I checked, and this was yesterday, he had over 10 million followers compared to Kamala, who is sitting somewhere around 4, I think, which was really good news.
Yeah.
JD Vance is not doing as well on his TikTok as Tim Walz is, but like neither of them even have 1 million at this point, although Tim Walz might by the time I'm saying this, because this was yesterday. But Trump is way ahead on TikTok, and he's doing pretty regular content. Here's just an example.
This is the cost of food. This is the cost of your basics. Every single thing is up. Eggs up 48%. Cookies up 27%. Look at what's going on. Butter up 31%. And this is just the beginning. It's a disaster.
I love it when it's a disaster.
The accordion. I know. I love the accordion.
The accordion hands. It's a disaster. Yeah, it is a disaster. It is.
He also did a rally this weekend that he live streamed on TikTok, and it had millions of people watching simultaneously.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Yeah. So he's winning at the social media game, and on TikTok of all places, which is, I always thought it was pretty skewed left, and he's giving me hope that it's not.
And I bet you that has a lot to do with Barron getting in his ear and going, Dad. It's no longer Ivanka going, Dad. It's Barron going, Dad. Get on TikTok. You got to be
Barron going, hey down there,
right,
Dad.
Dad. Yeah, you got to be where the kids are. That's what he's doing, and he's like, all right. I mean, because this kid's smart. He knows what's up. And he is. I love it that he's winning at the social media. I mean, like when have we ever been able to say that? First time in history.
The great Milton Friedman, this is a flashback, obviously, but he talked about inflation and price controls specifically. So I thought it was a good idea to resurrect this old clip.
I'm afraid that the chances that we shall have price and wage controls are unfortunately not negligible. It is a device that governments have repeatedly resorted to try to cover up the effects of their own policies. It is offered as a cure for inflation. It is not a cure for inflation. It has never been a cure for inflation. It is an alleged cure that is far worse than the disease, because its effect is to repress the symptoms, to repress the consequences of the more basic force. I always say that if you want to analyze wage and price control, the simplest analogy that brings it home is to think of a kettle on your stove in which there's water, and the water is boiling. It's got a cover on it, and the boiling water is threatening to throw the cover off. Now, obvious, sensible thing to do is to turn down the heat under the kettle. Another thing you can do is to take a brick and put it on top of the kettle. And at the same time, turn up the heat. That is precisely what President Nixon did in 1971, when he simultaneously put a brick on top of the kettle by freezing prices and wages, and at the same time launched on a more expansive monetary and fiscal policy, which turned up the heat under the kettle. And what happened? The lid of the kettle blew up. You held it down for a little while, and then you had a 12%, 13% inflation. That has been the experience every time, not simply over the last 20, 30 years, but for 2,000 years. Emperor Diocletian tried the same thing in Rome 2,000 years ago with identically the same results. So I have nothing but a negative opinion about wage and price controls.
There you go.
This is the shit that needs to be taught in schools.
Right. And why? And it's not.
I know.
It's simply not, which is, I mean, it's tragic that it's not.
Yeah. And then we can always use a little bit of flashback from Reagan, right?
Wage and price control.
When Mr. Carter became president, inflation was 4.8%. It is now running at 12.7%. He has blamed the people of living too well. We don't have inflation because the people are living too well. We have inflation because the government is living too well.
That's right. God, I love him.
I know.
You
So
know, that,
great.
and Jimmy Carter was the worst president in history until Biden
now.
came. Yeah, until Biden came along,
Mhm.
and Biden was like, "Hold my beer," you know.
And now Kamala's like, let's do the same stuff that
But worse.
but worse. Let's take what we've already done, which is terrible, and like triple down on it.
Yeah. But then our media is like, let's completely turn her into something that she's not, paint a picture of her that is a completely different person. And there are people on the left who are deifying her. It's remarkable to see.
And now there's a rumor that she's drunk all the time. I don't know if you saw that floating around over
Scotchy,
the weekend.
scotch.
But it is out there in the ether, like circulating. And now when you look at some of her videos with the lens of believing that she's drunk all the time.
Yeah, you believe it.
She looks drunk all
Yeah.
the time.
Mhm.
It's pretty amazing. Cause like once that seed is planted, it's almost like,
Yeah. It's like,
I mean,
I think Nancy Pelosi gave her all the stuff in her cabinet.
Right. Michelle Boyd, thank you. Michelle says, I am so involved. I have 16 grandchildren that deserve making America great and to keep her that way. Vote these commies out, she says. Yep. Meanwhile, Biden continues to be president, and that's bad. There's a
Terrifying.
new report that just came out this morning from the House Republicans on various committees who now it's like a 291 page report where they've got all this evidence of the Biden family enriching themselves from foreigners and foreign entities to the tune of $27 million. So this is all part of that old impeachment inquiry, right? That they're still in the process of investigating. I don't know what the point of this is at this point, because we're just going to get Kamala as a president earlier if he's impeached.
Right.
But just so you know that this is happening. Meanwhile, I think he did one campaign stop with Kamala. He spoke with reporters briefly and tried to like deliver like a sick burn to Trump. It's not a sick burn.
Mr. Trump says he wants to make America affordable again. Your response? They ought to get a job.
Says the guy who's been sucking off the taxpayer teat for half a century.
Right?
He has had a job. He's had several jobs. He's
also created like thousands of jobs.
What have you done, old man?
Oh my
God.
God.
Lord, how have you contributed? All you've done is suck off the taxpayers. I can't with this guy. I just can't.
God.
That's not a good comeback.
So now get ready for it, because now that the DNC is happening this week, expect to see so much unbelievably nauseating fawning over Biden by the Democrats who engaged in a coup to get him out of the running. So now they're like filled with love for him, right? And it starts at the tippy top with Kamala, who introduced him at a rally over these last few days. And just the sticky, sweet grossness.
Our extraordinary President Joe Biden.
Extraordinary.
And
such lies.
He's going to speak in a minute, but there's a lot of love in this room for our president.
They hate him. They all hate him. The cabal.
Including his family.
Yes, family hates him. They all hate him. It's all just lies. They all lie. What a bunch of phonies.
Oh my gosh, right? But this is what you're going to see. And in fact, Amy Klobuchar, the reason for my name today, was on with Jen Psaki to talk about what you're going to see at this convention.
There is going to be so much love for Joe Biden. There's going to be tears of joy when he walks into that hall.
My
and
God.
What he has done, and I love that a major focus of this is going to be on democracy.
It's going to be on democracy. Did you hear that?
I know.
Major focus is going to be on democracy, which they have single-handedly crushed.
Right.
Like, these people are just the biggest hypocrites. They are lying jackholes is what they are. I cannot. Fawning over Joe Biden. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh. It's
gross.
It's going to be, I mean, like, I know we have to watch it.
We
but
have to. We have to. It's like we're going to have scotch just to watch it.
For
You
sure.
and I. Oh my God.
And then, of course, when Biden does have a platform or he's given a podium, it just doesn't ever go well. And I think he's speaking tonight, which is kind of an insult, right? Because, like, shouldn't he be a Thursday night speaker?
Well,
like, shouldn't he be like ahead of
'cause
Kamala?
He's the president.
Right. And so the fact that they're giving him a Monday time slot seems kind of like a dig, but
It
that's
is.
just
It is
me.
totally a dig.
But he tried to, I guess, tell a story about a nurse who may have spoken at this rally before him, and
Was she in
about the
Scranton?
cost.
Was she in
I don't know
Scranton?
where they are, but
No.
he was talking about the cost of prescription drugs, and whenever he has to deal with numbers, it's never ever a good thing.
Because the prescription drugs are totally unaffordable.
What?
The woman you all met, the nurse you just met, she's paid $9,000. $900 a month. Well, guess what, man? She's going to pay nowhere near that.
Guess what, man?
$9,000. She's going to pay, guess what?
Guess what?
Beginning January, every single prescription drug she has.
I gotta get it.
Including, God forbid, if she needs a really expensive drug.
Guess what, man?
Maximum she ever has to pay is $2,000, period.
Wait, 2,000 is more than 900.
But he corrected himself and said 9,000.
9,000. Did he? Did he correct himself?
Yeah, he did. He said, excuse me, 9,000 a month. And guess
Because he
what?
said 9,000, then he said 900, then he said 9,000, then he said 2,000. I'm confused.
And so is he.
Okay.
So
he's whispering and he's like, guess what? Guess what, man?
And so too are the people who are actually voting for Kamala. They are as dumb as she is. Here is a great example. So this was a woman who was interviewed while Biden was still the guy running. And then she's also interviewed now that it's Kamala. And here are both of those little interviews.
Living paycheck to paycheck. I'm stealing from Peter to pay Paul. And I know it's cyclical. I know, you can't blame the sitting president for everything that's wrong. You can't blame past presidents for everything that's wrong. But come on, guys, we got to do something.
Again, that was earlier this summer. I checked in with Michelle again after President Biden dropped out of the race.
How do you feel about the race now?
This is going to sound crazy, but I feel better because I don't know. I said on my last interview, like, don't really hear from Kamala, but I think I'm with Kamala. I've watched her. I think
people.
she has to get her feet wet. She was only the vice president. Like, but I think a woman running this country, oh God, I hope.
What a freaking lunatic.
This is what we're up against, though.
Yeah.
These are the people we're up against.
Wow. Not a brain cell. Not one. I no words. There's
well,
these.
There's more because these people
oh my God.
also, there were like these people that were interviewed at the rally. Okay. So these people are her supporters and they are, oh my God, they are just so dumb. Watch.
Today, we're trying to find out from the attendees what Kamala Harris's greatest accomplishment has been as VP.
Honestly, I'm not too into politics. I'm just here for the vibe.
Becoming the first female vice president. So becoming the VP is the best accomplishment? Yeah, absolutely.
Being a good person.
Being a good person?
Yeah. She's I don't know. She seems really good for women.
Harris is there with the energy. She has a lot of enthusiasm, so it's important to get behind her. What is Kamala's top accomplishment, you think?
I can't say anything right now. Give me a second.
Her top contributions to policy or policy as VP.
I wasn't in on the policy making decisions with President Biden, so I don't know.
Her favorite policies. Oh my gosh. See, I wish they would tell us more about that because I honestly don't know.
Oh my God.
Oh, I know she's done some good work with immigration, even though they say opposite.
What do they say?
Well, what is it? She's the border czar.
She's the fake border czar.
It's her fault that all these immigrants are coming over, to cross the border right now, which I don't think they are.
People have been saying that Kamala's a border czar, or whatever that means. Is there an issue at the border? Has Kamala done anything about it? Or was there not anything to do about it, and so they're just kind of making things up?
So I don't think there's an issue with the border at all. I feel like, yes, illegal immigrants are coming to America, but that's what America's all about, is to come to America and live that American dream, because America isn't just for the whites. It's not just for the blacks. It's not just for the Mexicans. No, it's for everyone around the world. We're supposed to be a country of letting people come in and do what they'd like. I mean, I understand that with, they say the border crisis is causing all these drug issues and it's causing crime, but in my opinion, there's crime everywhere. You can go to New York, you can go to Canada, you can go anywhere across the world, and there's going to be crime regardless.
Yeah, it's a total, they're blowing it way out of proportion, huh?
Oh, for sure.
Would you say there's a problem at the border at all?
So there is a problem at the border. I really would wish for her to go visit the border while she's here. I don't know what's on her schedule and whatnot, but I mean, there's work to do, and I can't dismiss that. There's problems to fix, but my personal wish would be for her to visit the border with the governor so they could see what's going on.
4 years ago.
I mean,
the stupidity is staggering, isn't it? It's just it's mind blowing how stupid these people are. They're so dumb. And going back to the girls, or the woman, that stupid woman, the original one, who was like, she's a woman, so she can. She was a woman when she was elected VP, and she didn't do shit. So she's, as far as I know, she's not changed gender. So how is she going to do better as president? And this whole she's nice, she's kind, she's
joyful.
Right. There's a good vibe. In the private sector, when people are hired as CEOs, that's not how they're hired. It's like, you were in HR. You didn't conduct an interview and you weren't like, what kind of vibe is this person giving me? If you were hiring somebody for a CEO position, which is legit the most important position in that company, and this is the most important position for our country, you weren't like, well, as long as this person's nice, I'll hire him or her. That's not what you did. It was based on qualifications, whether or not they could actually do the job. There was obviously a gigantic list. You vetted the person. It was so much more than just, what kind of a vibe does this person give me? It's unbelievable how stupid these people are and how they're willing to put this moron in charge of our country, even though she's completely and utterly inept.
Well, and if you think about the state of our country and the world by extension, under Biden Harris, and Harris is the VP, she's essentially asking America, give me a promotion. Right. And here are the results I've achieved for you to warrant a promotion. The results are shit. So why would we consider giving her a promotion? And that's what these people are doing. Well, I guess I'm living paycheck to paycheck and things really suck, but she's a woman.
But she's a woman and I like her. She's nice and I get a good vibe. And this is why I have a problem with government. The rules are completely different with government, but essentially it's more important. It's like, at the end of the day, this job is more important than a private sector CEO job. But yet they don't hold the same value in that. And why don't we do that? We should do that. I feel like this is a little bit more important than even a corporate CEO position. And we're not holding these people to that importance.
And all we can do is hope that these idiots do not outnumber people with actual common sense. I think Don Lemon, he was out on the streets of New Jersey asking people who they were going to vote for, and he had a bit of a rude awakening to some extent. This actually was so nice to watch after what you just saw.
It was a lot better. I made a lot more money than I do now.
I know you feel that way, but that's not actually what the record shows. The economy
he was
is
trying.
better under Biden. No, I'm serious.
Okay.
Okay, you know what? No, that's not because I watch CNN. Trump or
I love that because
I loved it too.
He's doing exactly what the media always does, which is to say, you may feel like you're broke and everything's expensive, but that's not the
broke.
factual reality.
You're not really broke. No, you're not broke.
You're
It's
fine.
like, shut up, Don. Yeah. My God.
And so here's another guy who's like, I'm voting for Trump, and he knows exactly why.
Trump. That's who's going to win. That's who's going to win. Who you support? I support Trump. All the people that came to this country legally, it's not fair that they're letting all 10,000 to 15,000 people or 20,000 people here illegally. Have you seen San Diego? Yeah. They're coming off the boats, off the water right here, off the ocean. Did you know Biden was flying them in? Did you know Biden was flying them in? You didn't know that?
Oh, I know nobody likes him, but we had good times with Donald Trump. Our economy was good. Life was good.
But you know the economy's better under Biden than Trump.
Oh my God.
Bullshit.
I love her. He's just trying, isn't he? He's trying so hard.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, why
is the economy better for you, Don? I mean, do you even have a job? What's going on? He's just like, who does this guy work for now?
He just has his own podcast thing.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. But I love that he tries to say, no, the facts prove you wrong, that everything is fine. And she's like,
bullshit.
Audrey Krause 5 says, dumb as rocks. These Dem rally people, nice vibes, not one accomplishment. Let's vote for Kamala. God help us, right? I know. Joe Scott, thank you. Joe says, my dream, LOL. A humiliated, embittered Biden calls out and flips off Pelosi and company during his speech tonight, and out of sheer spite, roars from the podium. And so I endorse Donald J. Trump. F all y'all.
Oh my God. Wouldn't that be amazing? So amazing.
Aaron Powers says, I tried to send you $900 or $9,000, but I got confused. So here's $499. Take my money.
I love it.
Connie Cannell says, morning, there was a worker at our local Family Dollar and he was wearing a button that said, I'm with her. I asked him what she has done. He had nothing except that she was a senator. That's it.
Unbelievable.
People are just morons.
God, they are.
And then Hassanak says, this is $10, but it might be $10,000. Not sure, but the maximum is $10, but maybe $100,000. I hope YouTube doesn't know and just is like, here's $100,000. All right. We also need to play you, because we always like to do flashbacks of Kamala. And remember how we mentioned that there's rumors going around that she's always drunk, and that's why she sounds the way she sounds.
She's a wine mom.
Oh my God, you guys, here's a great example where she thinks she's teaching the audience a brand new word.
There is this wonderful word that has a great meaning, and it's called hypothesis.
Oh, wow.
Which means that you have an idea, and then it is well accepted, it will be tested, and then you will learn whether it was correct or not, but there will be no pride associated with the hypothesis, because after all, it was a hypothesis.
Right.
And then you will reconvene and then create a new hypothesis.
Right.
That dude was like, you really are going to do this? You're going to do this during my time. You're going to do this because you are an idiot. He's looking around. You can tell.
Oh my God,
man. She's a piece of work. Yeah.
She is a piece of work. She also did, I don't know if this was like a rally. It was a pretty small crowd. But it seemed as though she was talking off teleprompter. And again, when that is a thing, it is not a good thing.
No.
It's when she has those off teleprompter moments that she reverts back or counts on or leans on little stories or turns of phrases that she has used her entire life.
And cackling.
That's why we keep hearing unburdened by what has been. She uses that over and over because when she doesn't have anything to say, she has to just use her crutches, right? So what she said this weekend was real familiar to a lot of people. You're going to hear first what she said this weekend, and then we'll play a clip from like 4 years ago when she was running that sounds eerily similar.
Our election is about understanding the importance of this beautiful country of ours in terms of what we stand for around the globe as a democracy. As a democracy, we know there's a duality to the nature of democracy.
Here we
On
go.
the one hand, incredible strength when it is intact. What it does for its people to protect and defend their rights, their liberty, and their freedom. Incredibly strong. And incredibly fragile.
Because when we think about the strength of our democracy, you know, I think that there's a duality to the nature of democracy. When it's intact, oh, it's so strong in terms of what it does to uphold and protect individual rights and freedoms. So strong in its nature. And very fragile.
Very fragile.
It will only be as strong as our willingness to fight.
So fragile. So fragile.
She is drunk.
Somebody get me another martini. So fragile, you guys. It's fragile.
Oh my God, the duality.
And it's a constitutional republic. I'm so sick of that. Like democracy. Ah.
Oh my God.
Shut up.
You guys, Doug Emhoff, who we have long speculated is gay. Like really gay.
I just think he's a beta. I honestly don't know if he's gay because I think that's mean to actual gay dudes.
Fair.
I really do.
I don't know. I've always felt like he's a little bit on the gaydar, and
I think he could swing both ways, is what I think.
Okay. Well, he's definitely taken a liking to Tim Walz.
Totally.
And here he is saying it himself.
And again, we really bonded. You saw me get up on that stage and we just hugged it out. A few of my friends texted me, it's like, what's the deal? Like, I've known you for 20 or 30 years. You've never hugged me like that. Well, you've never been a vice presidential candidate before on stage.
He's also drunk. I think he also could be drunk. And you know what? You know that he drinks like really fruity things. Like he has, seriously, he's probably drinking like those little canned like seltzer drinks, you know?
Oh, for sure. Like the Trulies or whatever they are.
He drinks. That's what he drinks. There's no way that guy's drinking. I mean, he's not drinking the Scotchy Scotch. He's like drinking a clearly Canadian or whatever those things are. Remember those? You guys remember those? Yeah. A Bartles and James. Remember? That's what
a wine cooler.
A wine cooler. That's what Doug Emhoff drinks.
Gretchen Whitmer was speaking of Tim Walz, because now we got to get into some Tim Walz stuff. Tim Walz is just wow. Like that guy, he's so bad in every way. And he has radical ideas about immigration, which is essentially to do nothing, as we know. And Gretchen Whitmer was asked about Walz's immigration history, and she had a tough time.
Walz, and particularly on the issue of immigration. Obviously, some of his policies in his state have come into focus. He signed into law initiatives allowing undocumented immigrants to apply for driver's licenses, free tuition at public universities, and enroll in the state's free health care program for low-income residents. Would you like to see the Harris administration adopt those same policies, Governor?
Well, I can tell you, Tim Walz is a pragmatic guy. He's a Midwesterner just like me. And I think some of the wonderful things he's done in Minnesota resonate with, Americans in all states.
Why arrest?
She didn't answer the question. She's like, he wants to give all this he's giving free crap to illegals. And she's like, he's a pragmatic guy who eats casseroles. That's
just like me.
Just like me. That's not what she asked. Gretch.
God, I hate that woman.
I cannot stand her.
So remember how we talked recently about the Tim Walz DUI from like 95, I think it was.
Right.
I did not know some of the details about how much his own campaign for governor lied on his behalf about that DUI. And props to this CNN guy for uncovering the actual facts and also shedding light on how much the campaign lied for him to become governor. This is extraordinary.
This is a story about someone getting a DUI arrest and then his campaign
repeatedly misleading and giving false statements to the public about it. So let's just go to the facts of that 1995 arrest first, okay? Walz was speeding over 95 miles per hour in a 55 mile per hour zone. He failed a field sobriety test that was administered by a state trooper. He then admitted in court that he had been drinking. He was transported to a local hospital for a blood test that showed he had a blood alcohol level of 0.128, and that was above the state legal limit. He then took a plea deal where he pled guilty to a reckless driving charge. Now, those are the facts. That's from police records, that's from court records, and that all is completely undisputed.
All right, so that is clear, the idea of what happened. What did his congressional campaign actually say happened?
So let's fast forward to 2006. He's in a tight congressional race. He is running for Congress. This was a Republican-held district that he was trying to flip, and then a local Republican blog puts up that he had this arrest for drunk driving. Now, I'm going to give you sort of the bullets of what his campaign said about that. The campaign citing Walz claimed that he had not been drinking and driving. They attributed his failed field sobriety test to hearing loss from his time in the National Guard, not alcohol. The campaign falsely said that he drove himself to the station, that he was allowed to drive home. They said the DUI charges were dropped because they were unfounded. And the campaign even faulted this trooper for saying that he didn't realize that Walz had hearing impairment. They claimed a judge actually chastised the state trooper for it. Now take a look at just one statement that his campaign put out. They said he, quote, couldn't understand what the trooper was telling him during the field sobriety test, and the trooper refused to speak up. The DUI charges were dropped for a reason. The judge would not have dismissed them if there were anything to him. Tim drove to the station that night and drove home afterwards. I don't think the trooper would have allowed that if there had been a problem. So none of what they said in that 2006 race was true at all, as we saw in just looking at those details of the 1995 arrest.
So he lied using his military service. He lied again.
He lied again. And
he lied again.
Because I thought it was the governor race, but it was the congressional race.
God,
it doesn't matter. Because
what a loser.
Oh my God. The
complete
worst.
loser this guy is. So he's drinking and driving. Thank God he didn't kill anybody. Right? Going 95 and a 55. Freaking idiot. And
But
then
but assuming, I mean, you know, he makes it into Congress on false pretense. Like his campaign totally made up everything about that night. Everything.
Blamed a trooper.
Yeah.
How dare he? What a dick.
Yeah, he's awful.
This guy is a lying sack of crap, and he's gotten where he's gotten because of lying. Everything is based on lies.
And he continues to lie whenever he gets up on the stage and says, mind your business. And we neighbors want to just mind each other's business, right? Like that. The fact, and we've talked about it, the fact that he had that snitching hotline, right, set up for neighbors to actually not mind their own business and to report their neighbors. He was asked about that at a daily coronavirus briefing. So when the hotline was set up, it was set up for a time. And then as governor, he was doing these briefings during the height of COVID. And someone asked him, you know, do we really need this? Like, do we still need this hotline? Here's what he said.
Gazelka wants you to take the hotline down for people to report violations of the stay-home order. Do we need a hotline? Is it being used?
It is being used, and we simply want people to be able to call and let folks know, and it's for their own good.
It's for their own good.
Yeah. What a piece of crap this guy is. Again, communism.
Yeah. I mean,
that's what this is, you guys. The whole ticket, just it's dripping in communism. Is that if you want that, go to Venezuela if you want it. Go to North Korea if you want it. But I mean, I don't want that in my country, and neither did our founders. They are rolling in their graves right now, spinning.
Yep. Curio23 says it's most likely Doug Emhoff was drinking a Zima.
It probably was a Zima. Oh my God. That's what he drinks.
Nerd Dad 83 says, me thinking thoughts get bigger when I listen to Kamala. Take my money. This was sarcasm, he says. Robin Zecca says, take my money for the Ron Burgundy reference.
Scotchy, Scotch.
And Minnesota Farm Wife says, worst governor for the last 6 years. Love y'all.
Just,
oh my God.
How did these people get elected? I mean, well, we know he got elected through lies, but still, you think people would be like, okay, we're on to you now.
Mm-hmm.
So many dumb people, you guys. That's what worries me about this election, is that these people get elected because of dumb people, which is why we have to just overwhelm the ballot box. We have to.
Yep. Jim Acosta, in an accidental act of journalism, seemed to actually take issue with one of the Kamala campaign spokespeople, specifically about the lack of press conferences, lack of interviews, and so on. So this was late last week when we were gone. And it's just remarkable to me because Jim Acosta is actually pushing back on the spin.
Would it kill you guys to have a press conference? Why hasn't she had a press conference?
Listen, the vice president and Governor Walz have been busy crisscrossing this country since the launch of this campaign and adding Governor Walz to the ticket. You saw the ways in which they went across the battleground states last week, generating rallies of thousands, 10,000 here, 15,000 there. But
Michael, you know, a campaign rally is not a press conference. Do you mind if I cut in? I mean, you know, a campaign rally is not a press conference. Why hasn't she had a press conference? She's the vice president. She can handle the questions. Why not do it?
We absolutely are going to do it. You hear her take questions as she's out on the stump. And she said last week, we're going to be having a sit-down interview here before the end of the month. What she's going to be focused on and what this campaign is going to be focused on is communicating directly with the voters that are actually going to decide the pathway to 270 electoral votes. That's why she
Can you commit to a press conference this week?
This past week. That's why we're doing a bus tour in Pennsylvania as we head into Chicago. And it's why we'll sit down for an interview before the end of the month to make sure that we can have a deep dive conversation about the vision that Kamala Harris has for where she wants to take this country and the contrast that we're going to have with Donald Trump. We're going to have plenty of opportunities to do that throughout the rest of
but one interview by the end of the month.
This month and throughout the rest of the campaign.
I don't want to belabor this, but one interview before the end of the month. I mean, that's not a lot. I mean, can you commit to a press conference before the end of the month?
We will commit to directly engage with the voters that are actually going to decide this election. Look,
that's a no. That'd be a big fat no, Jim. That's what that is. Big fat no. And I love that clip of her. That clip of her just shows what a complete biatch she is. Every time she like throws that thing to her little, I guess subordinate. Yeah.
Yeah. She's so
awful.
dismissive.
Yeah, she's awful.
Ann Temple says, can someone answer who is paying for Kamala to fly around on Air Force Two campaigning? I'm thinking we are. Someone should ask.
It's us. We're paying for that. We pay for everything. We pay for all these people, these useless, inept people. We pay for
they
it.
don't
Get back
have
to work,
money
you guys.
on their own. That's not a thing.
They never do. It's all us.
JD Vance apparently got word right before he went on the Laura Ingraham show late last week. He got word that there was a proposal by the Walz campaign of a date for a debate for the two of them. So he was just hearing it, and I gotta say, I don't like the fact that he and perhaps Trump too are trying to set parameters for these debates by having audiences. I actually thought that the Biden-Trump debate without an audience was great. Like, I love the fact that there was not that distraction. And so I don't know that it makes sense for them to say, well, there needs to be a crowd and we need to be whatever. So again, I'm giving him grace because he just heard about this basically like seconds before he went on the show. But I just think they should take every opportunity to debate in whatever format there is. Just do them. All the debates, as many as possible. Here's Laura asking him about it.
Laura, we're certainly going to debate Tim Walz. We just heard about this thing 3 hours ago, so we're going to talk to them and figure out when we can debate. I actually think we should do more than one debate, so hopefully we're going to see him on October 1st, but hopefully we're going to see him either before or after that, because I think it's important for the American people to actually see us discuss our views. If you look at the way that we've run this campaign, Laura, Donald Trump and I are giving every media interview. We're talking to every audience that we can get in front of because our vision is so clear. We don't think that Americans who work hard and play by the rules should struggle to afford groceries. We don't think our children should be killed by fentanyl, and we have a vision for how to implement public policies that are going to secure that border, cut down on the drugs, and bring the costs of everything from groceries to housing down to reasonable levels. Because we have that vision, we're going to go anywhere and talk to anybody. It's a shame that the Kamala Harris-Tim Walz campaign seems to run, not just from the media, but from voters. And I think that, again, the American people will see right through it.
Well, Senator, is there any doubt that you will not be there on October 1st to debate Walz.
Look, Laura, we want to actually look at the debates, look at the moderators, talk about the rules a little bit. CBS reached out to us about this literally 3 hours ago. I was landing from a rally and a press conference in Michigan. I strongly suspect we're going to be there on October the 1st, but we're not going to do one of these fake debates, Laura, where they don't actually have an audience there, where they don't actually set the parameters in the right way, where we can have a good exchange of ideas. In other words, we're not going to walk into a fake news media garbage debate. We're going to do a real debate, and if CBS agrees to it, then certainly we'll do it.
I don't think they need an audience. I just don't know why that's a thing. Who cares?
I think an audience would be better. I mean, it's because listen, it's already going to
clap and they just make it take longer.
Well, it's going to be bad enough though having George Stephanopoulos moderate this crap, because we all know where he stands. Everybody knows CBS is going to be so slanted, and they're going to make every question try to make Kamala look great or make Tim Walz look great. This is what they're going to do. So, I mean, I don't really see the big deal about, hey, it would be nice to have an audience there. It would be nice. I mean, it's just the way that they did it the last time was so contradictory to everything that we've done in the past. And so I can see where these guys are like, why do we have to make everything the way that Democrats want it to be, which is precisely what Biden wanted it to be. He wanted it to be like this very sanitized version of a debate, which he got what he wanted and he looked like shit.
Right.
So,
and that's why, like, when there's no distractions and they literally just have to have a coherent answer, she's going to suck at that. I don't care what the questions are. She sucks at it. And Trump will be able to capitalize. And I just don't, I mean, parameters are fine. I get that they want to know what the rules are and the parameters. I just think the audience thing is so not a thing. Like,
they're going to do
gives a shit?
They're going to do it anyway. No matter what it is, they're going to do it, which is why they're the better guys, and they're going to do whatever. And they're also going to be better prepared because they have been doing exactly what JD said. They've been doing everything and anything to talk to voters.
Yep.
And the other side hasn't. So in essence, they're better prepared. Plus, I mean, you look at like Trump. Trump has had what's her name? He's been doing prep with God, who was Tulsi Gabbard.
Yeah.
He's been talking to Tulsi Gabbard. They've been doing, I love that because you always have said, oh my God, I hope he's prepping. I hope he's not going to go in there unprepared. I mean, the fact that there's been chatter about him preparing with her.
Oh my God, I love that.
It's fantastic. Yeah. So, I mean, I do think that both of them will be better prepared just because they're out there talking every day and they have people ask them questions and they have to do it off the cuff. Those other two are constantly scripted. Constantly telepromptered.
When they're not, it's a complete fail.
Totally.
Complete fail.
Totally. And
that's why the parameters don't even matter, because I just feel like at least Trump and Vance know their policies, know what they believe in and how they would work. And Harris has no clue. She has no clue.
They have to talk about it all the time, and they do talk about it, and they believe what they say. And I hope that JD brings up crap about Walz's past. I hope he talks about his military, all the stuff with the military. I hope he talks about his drunk driving record. And I hope they constantly bring up the fact that these two are commies. You know, I can't
that's
wait.
Really, all they need, the policy, they'll win on policy. They can win on policy. There's been so many surrogates out talking on all the Sunday shows yesterday, all throughout the weekend. A lot of people were, talking publicly about wishing that Trump would just stop with the super personal attacks and stick to policy, which he wins on every single time. And Dennis Quaid was on with Joe Rogan talking about how I don't like the guy, but I like what he does. I like what he did. And that's what everybody needs to focus on, because unfortunately there's no toning down Trump being Trump. Here's Dennis.
Really, the only thing I liked about Trump was everything that he did. I would cringe at so much stuff that he said.
Right.
But I think his heart was really in the right place. And not only that, we need a really strong leader like that to deal with these assholes that run the third world, the other world. There's some bad actors out there.
Yeah, unquestionably. And the wildest thing is that people are pretending that if he gets into office, he's going to become a dictator, as if he wasn't in office for 4 years and was never a dictator.
Right.
Like, the whole thing is like, we're just being gaslit and lied to on a scale that I've never seen in my life.
Yeah.
He's right.
For real.
Every day.
Gaslighting.
Every
out
single day.
of control.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. This is Paul Murray's show, and Megyn Kelly was on it, also talking about Trump just needing to stay to message. And there's a lot of people, I'm included in the people that think like she does, that he doesn't need to do the things that he's doing when he's got such a good record to stand on.
He's out there, but he doesn't have message discipline. And every opportunity he gets, whether it's the presser he held on Friday or the event with Elon last night, he's long-winded, rambling, and kind of fuzzy. It's like, what is he saying? He's taking so long to make a point that should take him 2 sentences to make. And I'm losing interest, and I'm kind of bored, and this isn't worth it. You know, there are more and more reports of people, even at his rallies, which go on forever, walking out, leaving early. They love Trump. They're going to vote for Trump, but they're not entertained by him in the way they used to be. And it doesn't help messaging, and it doesn't help inspiration, right? Like Kamala Harris, for all that we're ripping on her for, she's doing a good job of getting into these rallies, sticking to the script that was written for her, saying banal but slightly inspirational things like, we're not going back. When we stick together, we win. People like that. It's working. It sticks in people's heads. She's on message, and Trump isn't. So, it's the old, how do you solve a problem like Maria, except in this case, he's Maria.
Yeah, I saw a thing this morning about Brit Hume saying that, people are becoming bored with Trump. And that just shows how unserious we are as a country. It just shows how this country is now, everything is in bite-sized sound bites. Like everything is so, nobody has any, nobody reads anything anymore. Nobody has an attention span anymore. Nobody's serious anymore. That's what that said to me. It wasn't that I don't really think that people are tired of him. I mean, the guy just got shot in the head. Not even a month ago? Was it a month ago even? I look at the country and I think people aren't serious about their lives, about their children's lives and their grandchildren's lives. If they're bored with him, I mean, he's not there to entertain you, you schmucks.
Well, but her point is well taken, because I remember his convention speech. I was like, bye. I checked out after 40 minutes, because it's not about having a patience level or it's about his delivery. And that's what Megyn is saying. Megyn is just saying he doesn't have message discipline, and he doesn't. And people love that about him because he's real and he doesn't talk like a politician. But he's going to lose people if he doesn't get his message out clearly, coherently, succinctly, because people who do have low attention spans are going to check out.
And there's a lot. And I guess that's
a lot.
That's my beef, is that everybody now has such a very short attention span. As evidenced by the fact that you and I used to have we have a website. We used to write on it all the time. People don't read anymore. People can't read anything that's bigger than this. And that's seriously, that's just the truth. That's who we are as a society now. And it makes me sad. And that translates to a presidential election. People just want to have everything bite-sized and they can't listen. It is what it is. So, but you have to look at policy. You just have to look at policy. And when it comes to policy, this is a race between freedom and communism. Mm-hmm. What do you pick? Period.
And
it's pretty simple.
Trump has a very, very simple job to do, as Scott Jennings points out.
He's in the fight of his life. Independents are going to decide. They were with him. Now she's in the race. They're wavering. And the way to get them back is very clear. Hey, if you're mad about inflation, maybe we don't put the people back in charge who caused it. That's the message. Print it, frame it, hang it in the Louvre. That's all you got to do.
He did have.
That's all you got to do.
Right.
That's it.
I hear you. Yeah.
Okay, the last thing that we'll get to before we get to dogs, because we have a dog story.
Oh my gosh.
Is that AI, it's a terrible idea, and now I want it to stop because somebody made this.
Oh my God. Just
I
Stop.
cannot.
Make it stop.
Oh my
my God. Stop it. Stop. It doesn't even look like Kamala, though.
No, it doesn't. But the other stuff kind of did.
Yeah,
you know what I
that-
mean? Like the makeouts. Oh my God. The makeout session. Just, I can't, you guys. It needs to be destroyed. Like, this just needs to not be a thing anymore. Because like that's just going to get better and better and more advanced and more
and
real.
You won't know what's real and what's
Yeah.
not. Mhm.
And that's terrifying, right?
Yeah, it is. It's pretty terrifying.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Mhm.
Okay. So I was hoping that we would just be able to show JD Vance's German Shepherd and just be like, oh my God, look at how great. But because the internet is the way it is, you need to have some context before you watch these two clips. One is of Vance getting the dog out of the car and then getting up onto the airplane flight of steps. And then the other is the dog and JD Vance coming off of the plane. And people are trying to suggest that the way JD Vance holds the leash means that this is all for show and that he doesn't really know how to be around dogs, which is utter nonsense. This is their family dog. But this is the links that people will go to just try to discredit JD Vance in any way. Like I don't even think the dog has a leash on the way out because he's so well trained that he doesn't need it. But anyway, here is the dog. His name is Atlas.
Oh. What's
there
wrong?
anything wrong?
Nothing is wrong with that at all. What's the big deal?
I don't know.
I mean, Cat should be running around, ball swinging.
And then look, he's not even on a leash getting off the plane because he's just that good.
Oh my God. He's so precious. He's like, where are you going, Daddy? I'm coming with you. What a sweet boy.
I know.
He's so sweet. And then, like, seriously, contrast that with Biden's like 4 German Shepherds who have basically mauled people.
Right.
And then they sent him to the farm. Seriously, give me a break. That dog is awesome.
And he knows how to be. I mean, the way that people are trying to make this a thing when it's clearly not a thing is so ridiculous. But what's even more ridiculous is that literally the next day after this video came out and after everybody saw Atlas, Tim Walz made a TikTok of himself with his dog.
Oh my.
And it's such a, I mean, it's so obvious.
He has a French bulldog, doesn't he?
He's got some sort of big dog, but I don't even know what it is. It looks like it might be a Rottweiler mix of some sort. You can look at it, but just how lame is it that the very next day was like, well, I have a dog too. I have a dog too.
This is what they do. They copy everything.
Oh my God. Look at this.
Hey everybody, Tim here with Scout at the dog park along the Mississippi, doing our first entry into TikTok, or as he and I say,
what a
TimTok.
douche.
Right, Scout?
I mean, it was just so obvious that he was like not trying to get one-upped by having a dog. You know what I mean?
I have a dog too. It's probably not even his dog. He probably rented that dog. It's probably like one of his neighbor's dogs. Because that guy's such a freaking liar.
Oh my
He's
God.
like, let me find like a really great dog. And then like, yeah, give me a break. Everybody should be, you should be embarrassed for him. And somebody said his dog is embarrassed. That dog is probably embarrassed. Everybody should be embarrassed for that guy. Everybody.
Oh my God. What a loser, man.
Yeah.
What
copycat
a loser.
That whole administration and everything about them and that campaign is just a big copycat.
Mm-hmm. It is Monday, which means it's time for Mean Comment Monday.
Oh, yay!
Check these off. Okay. I don't even remember what they are. I just threw them all together. These are from YouTube. So
our whole
we are
gender.
disgraceful.
Why? Because of our gender, because we have lady parts. We're supposed to support the other person with lady parts. Is that what it is?
We're disgraceful, but also psycho.
Oh, that's sexist.
I kind of love it. Some of these just get so. What does this even mean? Racial women are the worst. Y'all get you two out of there.
Scotchy, scotch. That's what that
I love
is.
that his name is Truth Matters. Racial women are the worst.
Well, I mean, truth matters, just not grammar and spelling. but truth, you guys. That's right.
Let's see. What do we have next? We have.
Here we go.
You are simpletons.
Thank you. With your ears. Thank you.
You have big ears.
Mm-hmm.
We also have this 2 white women are so racist.
Again, with the spelling, like
They suck at
Willie, get it together. It's these and add a period. Mhm.
Bunch of you know,
the C word.
sad. You cannot add value to life and society, so you merely mock it. Shameful.
Are you really
Cry
crying,
face.
Ian? Are you crying? Are you? Oh, he probably is. Ian's probably crying. I can see that. And in his
And
mom's
drinking
basement.
Zima.
Mhm, drinking a Zima or a clearly Canadian. Right.
This one I loved because it's I won't support you or your show. Trash.
But you kind of are.
But you just did.
You
Thank you
just-
for the engagement.
You just did that. So thanks.
Let's see what is next.
'Cause so
Enjoy
stupid.
losing in November, idiots. Just don't get so upset. We need to give you the Ashley Babbitt treatment. I feel like sending this one to the FBI.
Yeah.
Just saying.
They probably wouldn't.
Is,
The FBI probably wouldn't help us though.
yeah, but
yeah. I think I'm all right.
Very threatening.
It is threatening. It's all right. I'm armed. And I feel like Samuel isn't. So it's fine, Samuel. It's like, I'm your Huckleberry. Just you come to my house and I'm all right.
Derek Jeber says 2 pea-brained Karens babbling on to denigrate a successful female. So MAGA of you.
Again with the apostrophe. What is it
Why?
with these people? It's not possessive. Okay. You don't need it. And why are they so dumb?
And who's the successful female? It can't be Kamala.
I think they're talking about Kamala. It's like, listen, Derek probably thought she was a dumbass when she had that 30% approval rating back like a couple months ago until the media told you that you're supposed to like her. Mhm. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, they're so predictable. Let's
Yep.
see. Wow, misogyny is alive and well in MAGA. Actually, I don't know. I'm guessing it's just weirdo mean girls. Those are incels wanting to control women through Project 2025. Plus, why are you whiners so terrified of Russia? You really are treason weasels. Vote blue.
Wait, there's a lot to unpack
There's a
there.
lot.
There's okay. We get past the weirdo mean girls, and then they're laughing about
But
it.
who are incels?
Those are incels wanting to control. I guess they're talking about Republicans or incels wanting to control women through Project 2025. Okay, that's been discounted. I don't know how many times we have to tell you that Project 2025 is not. It's not the platform of Donald Trump. It's just not. God, everybody just shut up about that. God, I'm so sick of having to discount that. You know, it's the Heritage Foundation. Do your homework and just stop it. Stop spreading lies. Why are we terrified of Russia?
I mean, I'm not a fan, but
I'm not really.
I don't want to become them. I'm not a fan of commie countries. So
right. I don't really exactly precisely what you just said. Treason weasels. I
actually love that. I love that word. I love that phrase. Treason weasel. I love it. It's great.
It is pretty good. And I'm not voting blue. Never.
Absolutely. Positively not. Thank you, Siobhan, or however you say your name.
Siobhan.
Got to change your podcast name to Mean Chicks Who Know How to Know.
I feel like that's a compliment.
I don't know. We
know how to know. So we know things.
But I mean, we're not mean. I don't think we're mean.
I mean, sometimes I can be like to Randy Weingarten, I can be mean.
Well, that's true. I mean, like when people deserve it.
That's a man, baby. But other than that, we're just telling you the truth. And if that's mean, then I'm sorry that, you can't take the truth. We're bimbos.
Sue Egan says, bimbos are the reason we don't have woman president. 2 cans short of a 12-pack bimbo.
Why did she sounds like a caveman? You bimbos are reason we don't have woman president. Why do these people? I swear.
It really does kind of sound caveman. He's like, she forgot.
Like
she
caveman.
added random comments or commas and then just like didn't make sense the
2
rest of the
cans
time.
short of 12-pack bimbo.
But I think she's the one that really loves that phrase because she wrote twice.
Oh.
Our nation does not have woman president because these, quote, 2 cans short of 12-pack, unquote, blondes.
Is that supposed to mean something? Like so we only have 10 cans? Is that that's it? That was a good one, Sue. It was a good try, you. Congratulations.
And so concludes Mean Message Monday.
Those were really, really bad. Everybody needs to try harder. The only thing that we got good out of that was Trees and Weasel. That's it.
Trees and Weasel is the greatest.
That was
I will
good.
use that. I will absolutely use it.
Somebody said we got to put it on a t-shirt.
Melody Daniel, thank you. She says, as a dog lover, vote no for Socialists Harris and Trump. I prefer to have dogs as pets rather than for dinner. Socialist Harris and Trump? What? I'm going to assume you mean Walz and not Trump, because
Harrison
Walz.
Surely. Yes.
Right?
I think she messed that up. Yeah.
Okay.
Harrison
All right.
Walz. Right.
RJN0519 says, cheers to the scotch. This one's on me. Take my money. Thank you so much.
Scotch.
Jose Rodriguez. I'm just going to post this because Bidenomics is so bad I have to delete spaces to save on the super chat. Just take my money, morning from Texas.
Jose. Thank you.
Aaron Powers says, for my favorite Trees and Weasels.
Trees and Weasels. Hashtag Trees and Weasel.
Lady Pie says, regarding the debate, Trump feeds off the audience and gets too distracted. That's why he did better without an audience. It'll keep him focused. I completely agree.
Okay. I mean, that's a good point.
Completely agree.
I just think regardless, they just need to do whatever. Just do all of them.
I mean, for sure. Like as many debates as possible, for real. Melody Daniel says, I totally put the wrong name in the last super chat. Sigh. As a dog lover, please vote no for socialism. I prefer dogs as pets rather than for dinner.
Yes, ma'am.
For the clarification. And let's see, over on locals, No Woke 63 says, having lived my entire life in Minnesota, we are so screwed as a country if Harris Walz gets cheated in. The entire USA will be turned into the same mess that Minnesota is now in. God help us, vote red. Osuki says, Mock Biden was in hiding too, and look what happened there. And SZ Plot says, oh my God, speaking of the dog, those people will complain about anything. Atlas is amazing, right? I know.
He's precious. I mean, like my dog would be running around like a lunatic. Seriously, Coda would ball swinging, freaking out, hitting people, jumping on. It would be, and people would be like, what is wrong with Daisy? Seriously.
Teresa Chakan over on Venmo says, I'm sitting here watching and it just dawned on me. It's my birthday. Happy birthday to me. $1 for each of my years. She's 62. Aww. I definitely do not feel this old. Love my chicks. Happy birthday. All right. It's time for your double dose of DDs.
Okay. These are just things that I will put on my never will do bucket list. Okay.
All right. The first one is the swing.
The swing. I will never do this. I will never do this, you guys. I think it's in Europe. This is something in Europe. Why do people do this crap?
Oh my God.
Is life not crazy enough that you have to do this crap?
This is terrifying.
And then they swing. I think they're going to just like, no. Nope. No, I'm not doing that. Oh, it's in Colorado. I thought it was in Europe. It's in Colorado. Nope.
Oh my God. No,
there's no freaking way I'd ever do that. Okay, this is the second one. I told Mock that we'll have to do this the next time we're in Mexico, like when we're drunk. I'm just kidding. We're never going to go to Mexico. We're never going to do that. So this
again.
Okay, but this is another thing I will never do. Watch this, you guys. This is how you want to die. Do this. What?
Oh my God.
What?
Oh my God.
What if it came unhinged? Like you would just go flying off into the sunset. I did parasailing one time when I was in high school. I was a senior in high school and I went to Panama City for spring break. And I did get a little tipsy and I went parasailing. Don't ever do that, you guys. Don't do
That's
it.
a bad idea.
It was terrifying. I sobered up real quick. It's terrifying. I know. GCQC's like, that looks totally fun.
No.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm. No,
Nope.
bodies are not supposed to do that.
No,
There's a reason
we're
that we
not
are on the ground.
Oh my God, that looks terrifying. No.
All right, it's time for some MyPillow talks, and I have some cats for you today because I know you've talked about how you want an orange cat, but I did not even know this kind of cat existed. This cat's ears are so freaking cool. Look,
that's a Maine Coon. That's exactly. That's what that is.
That's a Maine Coon kitten?
Yeah, you can tell by his ears, and that's what my husband wants.
Oh my God, you have to. I didn't know they had orange ones.
Look how beautiful.
And then this person finally got chosen by the cat distribution system.
Yes.
But watch what happens, because this person was all ready to take a kitten. You guys, one kitten.
He's like, oh, I'm taking the kitten home. Oh my gosh.
no.
It's a trap.
I can't take you on. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. There's like 8 of them. I take them all.
We got a kitten problem.
All of them want him. All of them.
Oh my gosh. Look at all of them. They're like, Dad, you're our daddy now. You're our daddy. Oh my gosh. I take them all. I take them all home.
Oh my gosh.
Just put them all on the ranch.
And then this story, you guys. You're gonna love this.
His 100th
old
birthday.
people and dogs. Are you kidding me?
Right.
Together?
100th birthday, all this grandpa named Robert wanted was to pet some dogs. So his daughter made a post about it, thinking only a few people would show up. But over 200 people in their city showed up with their dogs, just to make a stranger's day special. And Robert made sure to pet every single one of them with a smile on his face, making this 100th birthday the best one he's ever had.
Oh my gosh. That's what I want for my 100th birthday. Isn't that what you want for your 100th birthday?
I would love that. That's
the greatest birthday present ever. Oh my gosh.
That is the neatest thing
so
ever.
Sweet.
Anyway, those are your talks for today.
I have a gift. You want to just bring it in first? And I have a gift.
Let's bring it in.
Okay, let's bring it in. My birthday is next week, I think. Isn't that right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's next Tuesday. I can't believe that my birthday is next Tuesday, you guys. Okay, I got a gift from Miss Patty. She sent me a sweet note, and then she sent this to me.
Potatoes make French fries, chips, and vodka. It's like the other vegetables aren't even trying.
They're not even trying, you guys. They're not even trying. And I got some candy and it looks like a cassette.
Oh my gosh.
And then I got 2 Jesuses, right? But my daughter stole one Jesus to put in her backpack. So thank you for my birthday.
That's
Patty. Thank you so much. I got early birthday stuff. I love it. You guys, I hope everybody has a wonderful Monday, and we'll see you here tomorrow. And then Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we'll be together. We'll be together for the show. So see you guys tomorrow.
Bye.